Hello, today we're talking about clearing our energy, talking about how to clear your energy, or more specifically, how I clear my energy on a regular basis. And first things first, I'll just explain what I mean personally by clearing my energy. And I think the most succinct way of describing it for me is that there's like a centered, natural state of being me, and then I go out into the world, and we live in a world with a lot of really intense emotions and energies going on in the people that I interact with and just in the environment, generally speaking. And through my adventures stumbling around and meeting people who get triggered by me and get really upset, and then me taking that on, or perhaps me getting triggered by people or situations and that becoming an eruption of emotion and energy that I start carrying around, or just the general kind of chronic negativity or anxiety of the society that I'm living in. All of these things can can become this emotion and energy that I'm carrying around, and I know that it's incredibly important for me on a very regular basis to give myself the space to just breathe and let go and clear out some of this energy that I'm carrying. And I think for most of us, it's really important to regularly just give ourselves the space to feel what's going on, to clear it, process it. And sometimes there's a lot to be learned from all of the things that I'm walking through life, encountering and taking on. There's so many lessons, and the feelings are not necessarily something to simply get rid of. There's huge gifts and lessons and power in a lot of the feelings that I might end up carrying around through these daily adventures. However, just kind of coming back to myself by whatever means helps facilitate that. I know that that's just incredibly important for my mental, emotional, psychological, spiritual health. And today I just want to share three things that are incredibly simple, practical ways that I regularly clear my energy, come back to a sense of self. And the first is the one that I probably do the most consistently because I do it every morning, and that's going for a walk in the woods. I'm very lucky that I live near a forested park, and every morning I go for a long walk. And probably the most important part of that walk, or one of the most important parts, is that I leave my phone at home. It doesn't get to come with me because that phone is like this vortex to the world, to the culture, to the part of me that if I bring the phone, there's going to be a part of me that's somewhat distracted at some level the whole time. There's going to be a part that wants to check to see if I got a message. There's going to be a part that wants to take a photo of the beautiful things I'm seeing instead of being fully present to them. And I think it's just so important for me to at least one point in my day to put that all aside and actually step away from that world of the smartphone, the social media, all of that noise, to actually say, hey, I'm going to, because I'm empathically absorbing that environment, that culture, that noise all the time. And so when I put the phone down and step into the forest without it, I'm empathically absorbing something else that's timeless, you know? Because to me, nature is like actual reality, and that the social media, all of this, is not reality. And so I know that when I'm done my walk, I'm going to reconnect with that world because it's part of the culture I'm living in. It's part of this experience, and I'm cool with that. But it feels very important for me to put a pause on that reality at least once a day. I should do it more, but at least once a day to take a step back and to do something that's meditative, because I consider that walk a meditation. I'm also aware that for other people, not bringing a phone on a walk would be totally impractical or wouldn't make sense. And maybe even listening to music on their phone would help them be more present to themselves, depending on the environment they're walking in. So, what works for me is definitely not what works for everyone or even for me all the time. And during that meditation, I'm also exercising, but I'm not thinking of it as an exercise thing. I'm not counting the steps. It's not, it has kind of like a side benefit of being a form of exercise, but I'm not approaching it as something that's goal oriented. Like, it's not about accomplishing fitness. It's not about accomplishing anything other than presence. To be present to myself, my feelings, and to be present to nature and the beauty of the world and life. And that kind of unplugging and stepping away and giving myself time for introspection and slow, silent movement is so incredibly beneficial. I'll step into it some mornings feeling, just like so aware of the negative feelings that are swirling in me. And then just by like walking with them, not doing anything clever, not fixing them or outsmarting them, by the end of my walk, I'll just naturally be like, wow, I feel so much better. I felt like I had like a blanket over me of heaviness and emotion. And now, just by walking and breathing and being present, I feel so much better. And yeah, to me, that walk is just this profound experience of clearing my energy every day. Because, like I said, I'm just stepping back from a lot of my normal stuff and giving myself the space to be, to breathe, to feel, to be present. And it's really, really, really beautiful and important. And I think this similar thing could be achieved so many ways through sitting meditation, through yoga, through journaling. There's so many ways of experiencing that kind of, I don't know, like just pulling back, reflection, connecting to oneself, presence, introspection, whatever you want to call it. And that leads me to the second of the three ways of clearing energy that I wanted to talk about today, which is something I would describe as soulful sharing. And what I mean by that is sometimes when I'm carrying, let's say I got into a conflict with somebody, I got into an argument, and I'm carrying all of this intense energy and emotion because I feel guilty because I erupted at them, or I feel upset because they erupted at me, or maybe both simultaneously. One of the most helpful things in that scenario, or just in life in general, is for me, having somebody, a good friend, who's a great listener, who I just can feel empathy and compassion from, just being able to share honestly with them. To me, that's an incredible, incredible gift. And it just works wonders for getting back to my center and just being able to come back to myself. And it's something that can be reciprocal, which is the magic of it. I can share, they can share. And I know that in my experience, often the most profound experience of just sharing and the magic of that doesn't necessarily come from a friend or somebody having some crazy insight or being able to fix me or give me advice. Sometimes it just comes from their empathic listening and them being a peer and understanding. And through that, me being just able to get something outside of myself and then have somebody who's kind and gracious being able to just like reflect that or validate my experience. And they might even challenge me. They might say, wow, it sounds like you got triggered and blew up at that person. That's rough, my friend. I've been there before. And by them being able to like be real and compassionate, I don't get re-triggered and feel judged again and carry on kind of piling on emotional baggage. There's just something so amazing in being able to share with someone who is present, listening, and kind and compassionate. And it's not something to be underestimated. I feel so lucky that I've got a few people in my life that I can do that kind of sharing with. Because again, it's so profoundly healing and healthy. And like I said, the cool thing is it's something that we get to do mutually. It can be a shared experience. And that brings me to the third and final way that I regularly clear my energy, and that is one that I would call participating in life. And the best way for me to describe this would be maybe one day I'm feeling in a funk because something happened and I've got a lot going on emotionally. I'm feeling heavy, and the last thing I want to do is go to work. And what I've found is that not always, but often, the best thing in that day will be when I go to work. Because when I go to work, I get something like life will lift me out of my self-imposed rut, out of my exile. And when I'm at work, when I'm participating in life, not just at work, in a variety of settings, I have the opportunity to be kind, to be of service to others, to have an experience of my own goodness in action. And that's a really amazing thing as far as lifting myself. If I'm in a low place and I'm feeling really bad about myself, that can really lift things up. And sometimes just the act of being at work and being lifted out of my rut, or going skateboarding or hanging out with friends, it can just like discharge the thing that felt so big and so intense. But sometimes it can't. And sometimes I'll need to talk it out with somebody, or I'll need to meditate on it, or be by myself, or talk to a really wise person who knows about what I'm going through. But sometimes just going and living can have this incredibly healing property. It's pretty cool. Life, so what have I heard? What's the saying? Life is a self-correcting process. I'm messing that up, but but there's something sometimes just about stepping into the river of life, stepping into experiences that can help discharge the energy that we're carrying, or that I'm carrying, can help clear things, because it's like stepping into a river, right? And then as it clears things, new things get added, and there's lessons in all of it. And yeah, the story continues. Anyhow, that's all I wanted to share today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you can let me know. You can like it. You can comment. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe. You can turn on the notifications so you find out when new episodes come out. And if you're interested in checking out my book, How to Open the Heart, An Incredible Journey into Vulnerability, Empathy, and the Transformation of Consciousness, you will find links to that in the description. And until next time, I hope you have a beautiful day.